Hello, and thank you for supporting us for 100 great episodes here at the Navy Blue Corner. To celebrate, here is our interview with Dan Williams, someone you may know better as PommyInOz. He's a passionate bagger, and he produces some of the best and most insightful AFL content out there on YouTube. We hope you enjoy. It wouldn't be a celebration of the Navy Blue Corner if we didn't include this next man. He's been our most frequent guest on this podcast, and for good reason. He's an incredibly passionate Carlton supporter with one of the best footy minds you could ever find. With his YouTube channel, PommyInOz, amassing over 3,000 subscribers, a man affectionately known to many as Just Pommy, Mr. Dan Williams. Pommy, thanks for joining us for our 100th episode.
Jesus, where were you at my wedding? I wish I had that intro.
Well, I'm available. If anyone wants to pay me, I'm more than happy to try and MC something.
I'm going to have to get remarried again for that intro. You know what I mean? That's epic. But no, thank you very much for having me, boys. Honestly, my favourite podcast, apart from my own, because I do have a massive ego, but I do love listening to the Navy Blue Corner, boys. You are two of my favourites. So pleasure to be in. It's great to have the youthful Lockie here as well, because usually I get brought in when Lockie's dead.
Yeah, it's normally if I hear that you're coming on, a fake sickness or an errand I need to run comes up. But this time, 100th episode, I thought I'd, be present.
I'm like the Lockie Plowman of this podcast. I'm thrown in.
100%. And look, this is normally a place that we love to talk about ourselves. The ego is normally on us, but this one's about you. We want to ask you a couple of questions. And look, we know that your Carlton journey is a little different to most. And that's kind of makes me quite excited to hear your answer to this question, because Absolutely. I'd love to know if there was a moment or what moment, iconic moment for you, kind of got you to fall in love with Carlton. That is because particularly yourself, you didn't have to get as invested in AFL and Carlton as much as you have, not even growing up in this country. So I'd love to know if there's a moment that does stand out for you.
Yeah, the 2013 final, doesn't it, really? Juddy, how could I not? I mean, at that stage in my life, when I first came over here, my boss was a massive Geelong fan, was the world's greatest Geelong fan. So there was a point in time where Geelong were probably my first, well, I wouldn't say my first love, but my first footsteps into AFL with him. But no, marrying into a Carlton family, even though my wife's a St Kilda fan, the door was kind of pretty much forced on me to support this club. But yeah, a man of Judge caliber made it very easy to fall in love with this football club. And since then, I've had lots of on-ballers to fall in love with. Do you know what I mean? And Carlton players, haven't I? I've had Aaron Mullet. He came through. Paddy Dow. Yeah, I've had a few. So do you know what I mean? It's been a worthwhile journey. You know what I mean?
I didn't think Aaron Mullet was going to be that second name drop. Wow.
George Mullet. George Mullet. Do you know what I mean? That's how it goes.
Cam O'Shea is shattered. He didn't get a shout out there.
It'll come. It'll come.
He should have done. Stiff to not be there. But no, and it built from there. So do you know what I mean? At that time, I just know when I saw that goal, and we all know what goal I'm talking about from Juddy. We know. I didn't quite know what football was, but I knew I wanted to be a part of it. And my love grew from there. And I'm one of these weird people that if I want to like something, I'm fully invested in it. So from there, I went away and read stats. I played AFL Live on the PlayStation to learn the rules. And I must have put about 1,000 hours into that game because I found that very easy to learn the rules when I was playing. And before I knew it, I started rattling off stats. And long story short, now I'm here and I probably know way too much about football, to be honest. I've probably forgotten some really important things because of it.
No, absolutely.
I know you've already called out Aaron Mullet, so you've probably got the answer to this next question. But was there anyone else from that kind of 2013 final era that kind of helped with that, apart from Juddy? Like, who are the guys from that kind of era that you remember as being your favourites?
I think a bit later on, once I've really started to get invested and really learn the players, Dennis Armfield is someone that I wouldn't say was a great player, but I think his tenacity and his commitment, and those who watch my stuff know that I've got certain weird requirements for me to like you, and one of them is really enjoying what you do and putting it on the line and not making me question when you walk off, did you leave it out there? And he was certainly a player, Dennis, who he always gave 110%. And I wish there was more players like that, because he left every available talent he had out on the park for the Blues. And we need more players like that, I think. Other players that ring out, Mark Murphy, obviously. I like Cruiser. And my favourite, it's probably controversial. You probably can't say his name in public anymore, but Chris Yarron was probably my first love.
Yeah.
Because seeing someone run off halfback, I've got a soft spot for anyone who breaks lines off halfback. And Yarron, when he played for us, he was scary good, wasn't he? He was scary good.
Yeah. So confident.
Yeah. Oh, just miss him. The way he was playing, he was something else and could have been something else. It was insane. Look, this is probably my favorite question to ask on this one, because we're very much in the Carlton Nuffy fandom, if that's what you want to call us. And we love talking about niche players. And unfortunately, you've probably seen the most horrific batch of Carlton players, considering the time that you started sort of supporting this club. But I'd love to know if there's any other, I know you spoke about Dennis there, but if there's any other niche Carlton players that you loved that maybe, weren't universally loved or went under the radar, or even if there was any players that you were almost convinced were going to be superstars that just did not turn out to be superstars and ended up being delisted. And like you were chatting to us before we started recording, are now doing your click and collect at Coles every week.
I suppose I've got to give a shout out, because I became really best mates with his brother through my love of this player. Josh DeLuca definitely is a player that I was very hot on when we recruited him. I did a lot of previews on him. And like I say, through them previews, became really good mates with his brother, and we chat every day, me and his brother. Big shout out to you, Matty. But yeah, Josh DeLuca is someone that I always feel he's the one that got away. He's the one that got away. And scary, weird Pom stat, the only forward in the last 20 years other than Matty Owies to average more than a goal a game and a tackle a game inside 50 that results in a turnover leading to a goal. So that is a scary Pom fact there, and it hurts. Josh DeLuca. I thought he showed enough, and I thought it's weird how football comes back, because that was something that David Teague, when he delisted him, said that was a primary focus, and Carlton actually got worse at tackles inside 50 thereafter. And that's something that Voss has instantly improved, because now you've got Harry Mackay averaging just under a tackle a game inside 50. Before you knew it, Carlton have gone full opposite. So Josh is someone, that's a Pom cult figure hero, probably. I love Josh.
Love it.
Yeah, he was definitely one that we did not see the best of him, unfortunately. But look, let's move things to present day and take a look at the season ahead. What are your expectations for season 2023, and what for you has to change for us to make finals?
Well, I don't want to play finals I want to be in the top four. I think for me, my path for the course is skirting that 4 to 6 mark. That's where I am. I think that I'm right in 2022 as we made the 8. And I imagine the next logical step on the Voss plan was double chance final. And I think for us, that's where we've got to get it right. I think we showed enough throughout the year in pieces that we can compete with the best 4 clubs in this country. It's about learning that consistency. So I'm hoping that I think the best way to miss finals, it sounds sick saying this, it's probably the way we did it, because all the blame is on them players. They had 1,000 opportunities to make that right. At 8 and 2, you're pretty much in the 8. Yeah. So for me, I'm hoping that pain catalysts them into another level, because I think these boys are good enough now. And I think the time for potential and the time for this guy could be good is over now. Now, I think they all are bona fide AFL football stars. And it's time to go out there now. And no shit slogans, no stupid sound bites. Just go in there. And you know what? You've earned your stripes now. You've got the best player in the league, Cripps. You've got the 2 of the best Coleman medalists now, the last 2 Colemans on the list. If they can't make finals now, there's probably no point having Carlton Football Club as a football team, is there?
It's worrying if we don't. I do not want to go there.
Well, it's there, isn't it? And we've gone through the hard bit of the rebuild. And now you can say the rebuild's over because these players are bona fide AFL superstars. You'd say 10 of the 22 would play in any 18 in the AFL, any club. So now, time's now. So for me, top four are don't bother coming.
100%.
So fast forward, we've made it. We've finished in the top 4. Looking back on the season, who are going to be the guys that we're going to be like, they were the ones that took the step. They were the ones that, made that leap.
I think the big thing for me is when you look at Carlton last year, if you've played less than 10 games in the year for your football club, genuinely, you're considered bit part players. That's genuinely the AFL statistic. Less than 12 is a rotation. You look at the players at Carlton who played less than 12 games last year. I think there's a lot of players there that I'm expecting to go up. So Jesse Motlop just played 12 games, broke in towards the end. I expect him to be good. Jack Martin and Zach Williams are two guys that are on probably the different ends of why they annoy me. Jack Martin, because we got him free, so he's not really much of a loss, but he's really annoying. His talent's no question. He just gets them niggles. Yeah. Zach Williams came for a big cost. Yeah. Not quite fulfilled his legacy. But they're two players that I think are secrets. So to answer your question, I'm looking at the players. We know what we're going to get from your Docks, your Fishers, your Silvanis, your Cripps, your Sards. We know that. But what's going to catapult them to win this flag is that probably that bottom 8 who have been our bottom 8 for too long, who shouldn't be. And that's your Mark Pittonets, your Zach Williams, your Jack Martins, your Jesse Motlops. These guys can get 20 games into them. Suddenly, Carlton are a force. And I think that is something that I'm looking for this year is availability is your best ability. That's what I'm looking for.
Love it. Can you put your name behind one of them? Who's it going to be?
I think Jesse Motlop. I made the bold call with Terry the other week. I think Jesse Motlop's going to be all Australian. I think the one thing that separates us from being really good is our goals come from 2 guys, and we know who them are. Yeah. I think we haven't had one since Matty Wright, have we? Some guy who's not at all who can kick goals. And I mean, when you're saying Matty Wright's your best small forward for 2 decades, you've got massive issues as a football club.
Oh, yeah.
Because I'd be in the top 5 if that's the scale for one. So Jesse Motlop for me, I think he showed enough last year. No one's talking about him, I don't think, enough as well, because everyone says always deserves it because of his pressure. Motlop averaged per minute more pressure acts than Owies, but he also averaged them goals, which is the knock on Owies. I think he is our Pickett. He is our Papley. I think he is our X Factor player, and that's the guy that I think is going to flourish this year and be a superstar for this football club.
Yep. Love it. We've got one final one to wrap it up, mate. This has been great, but it's February now, so we've got all the optimism in the world and everything in front of us. So what's got you most excited as we think about this season coming up?
The messaging from the football club. I'm not being fed any hopes and dreams. It's not like a Mariah Carey Christmas song at the moment. It's more like a Michael Bublé one. The voice is selling it, and that's what I'm about. I think there's a real steely determination about them. And I look at myself, usually at this part of the year, I'm at that crossroads where I'm like, oh, for fuck's sake, we've got another year of this shit. How do I get excited? And I'm trying to pump myself up with making ridiculous statements like Carlton are going to invent the question mark or something. Now there is a real, from my point of view, a real confidence about them that I know they're going to do it. I have no doubt they're going to do it. I have no doubt we'll do this show in 9 months' time. And we've won a prelim final. We maybe got knocked out in the semis. My brain is telling me that is the destiny. So I love the fact the club are mirroring that it's business. And these little things, the video clip yesterday, Kennedy and Cripps getting into a stoosh, that is what I'm used to seeing when my mates are in my AFL chat going, oh, look at Dustin Martin. He's ready, Dan, and he's looking like he's working. Instead, I'm uploading them videos of Carlton training gone by, and it's Fisher and Cripps having a bit of a giggle in the back. And I'm like, it's quite embarrassing this. We look like a professional outfit. That is why my confidence is high. I think the time for talk has ended, and we're now an actual proud football club again. Man United are doing the same thing. My football team, the pride is coming back there. They're actually looking like a football side who represents Manchester. Carlton now feel like they represent me as a fan base again.
Love it.
Yeah, I mean, you've nailed it. Like, I love that the messaging seems to be whenever there's any interview with players and they ask them these questions, the response just seems to be like, we just got to do it. It's our job. Let's get it done. And that is just such a massive shift in how it's been before. And it clearly shows that something's hopefully changed in their mindset. And yeah, it should hopefully be a really big season. But look, thanks, Pommy, for joining us. You can find PommyInOz on his YouTube channel. Just said it there, PommyInOz. All the links to the channel and his socials will be in the show notes, will be in the description. All of that there for you. And yeah, look, Pommy, thanks again for joining us and helping us celebrate our 100th episode.
Congratulations, 100 not out. We'll be doing 200 before you know it.
Definitely,
Thanks,
mate.
Pommy.
See you then.